Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. God bless you. Vincent of Lerins was born in 390 and died in 450. He was a 5th century monk, priest, and theologian, renowned as a man learned in the Holy Scriptures and sufficiently instructed in the knowledge of ecclesiastical dogma. We know little of his life, little of his work has survived, and there is little recent published scholarship regarding him. We do know that many theological controversies troubled his own time. Pelagius had written on human free will, denying the need for divine grace, and Nestorius had denied the union of divinity and humanity of Christ in the virginal conception. Vincent's concern was straightforward. How can we discern between truth and heresy? How can we properly read Holy Scripture? And to this end, Vincent wrote the Commonitorium. Vincent insists that the faith is established by the canon of sacred Scripture and the sacred theological tradition of the Church. Vincent is the first to present a systematic treatment on Scripture and tradition as a theological method. According to Vincent, sacred Scripture is of divine authority and therefore complete and more than sufficient in itself. However, Scripture can be difficult, and therefore it's not universally accepted in one and the same sense. Scripture can be used by the faithful and heretic alike and can be interpreted differently. So Vincent wrote that every care should be taken to hold fast to that which has been believed everywhere, always, and by all. This general rule, he said, will be truly applied if we follow the principles of universality, antiquity, and consent. Vincent's fourth principle was that doctrine must progress in the proper sense of the word and not be a change in faith. The faith of the church can grow and mature and yet remain incorrupt and unimpaired, complete and perfect. Theology must be perfected so that the truth might take on more evidence, clarity, and distinctness. His insistence on the progression of theology suggests that Christian theology must have an eschatological trajectory. So Vincent's four principles for the proper interpretation of Scripture are antiquity, universality, consensus, and progression. Vincent wrote to combat novel ideas and new dogmas that were being proclaimed by eminent persons who were well established in the church. According to Vincent, neither ecclesial eminence nor intellectual genius is an excuse for departing from the teaching of the church. Vincent offered a vision of the faithful theologian as one who loves the truth of God and is not deceived by human genius or eloquence, who is determined to hold and believe nothing but what the church has universally held from ancient times. The faithful theologian must avoid novelties of dogma, subject matter, and opinions contrary to tradition and antiquity. Vincent asked, what therefore will the Christian do if some members of the church have broken away from the communion of universal faith? This would become a major issue 1,000 years later with the advent of the Great Reformation. He offered a threefold method of discernment: hold to the ancient faith, give priority to the ecumenical councils, and consult diverse but reliable authorities. It is truly remarkable that in spite of the multiplied schisms suffered by the Christian movement in past centuries, there remains a center that is supported by commitment to the sacred canon of Scripture and allegiance to the Nicene Creed. As the Christian church traverses the wilderness of postmodernity, the Vincentian principles of antiquity, universality, consensus, and progression serve as boundary markers that will guide Christian theology towards an ever-faithful trajectory, always remembering, always going into all the world, and always growing in grace and knowledge.